office, he will have to settle down and think about right now, what are we going to do about this financial mess? Did what the Congress did back in October, which they're going to do this week, I think. Is that enough? And I'll just give you one example. You can fix all these financial institutions, but this legislation does not go far enough to help ordinary home owners. Now, I want to tell you something about that. Every poll shows that the American people are not much more sympathetic with people who are stuck with these subprime mortgages than they are with Wall Street bankers stuck with bad investments. That's not what this is about either. Every time you foreclose on a home of a working family that can make a decent mortgage payment, it costs the economy that day $225,000. Why? Because you can't sell the house again for what you sold it for originally, because the local governments lose revenues, and because all your neighbors have their home values go down. Right? Right. So Hillary and others, and yesterday in his speech in Nevada, Senator Obama, all of the Democrats that really have studied this, have said we have got to do something to be more aggressive in allowing these good, decent, hardworking people who did not take out their mortgages in bad faith to have renegotiated terms because they can stay in their homes. It is worth it to us to spend $50,000 over the next 5 years to save $225,000 today. This economy cannot stand another 2 million people having their homes foreclosed on next year. And Barack Obama will do something about it. But the point is, he's going to have to worry about that, about our energy policy, about our health care policy. Now, Senator Obama has spoken a lot about how we ought to relate to the world. And yes, he'll get out and travel some in the first year, and we should want him to do it. But he is going to have to be really focused on fixing this economy. That means that the role of the Vice President in repairing quickly our relations in the rest of the world will be relatively more important in the first 2 years of the next presidency. And I'm just telling you, you can talk to me or anybody else who's spent any time in Washington, and they will tell you there is nobody in the entire United States Senate that understands the political, the economic, and the security challenges and opportunities of the whole rest of the world better than Joe Biden does. He is a superb choice. So, the last reason you ought to be for him is he'd be a lot better for Florida. This is a young state. It is an increasingly diverse state. There's a great article in the paper today just talking, and one of the national papers talking about the increasing diversity just of Florida's Hispanic population. Never mind all the rest of it. You need a president who understands that you are a microcosm of America's future and the world's present, and who understands that we have to make college more affordable, and we have to save Social Security and Medicare for the retirees who come here and invest their money and pay their taxes to operate the University of Central Florida and other colleges. I'll just give you one example. When I was in office, they told me that Medicare was going to go broke in 1999. And the Republicans had all these ideas basically to save it by halfway destroying it. And instead, we saved money by cutting out waste, stopping improper payments, having better oversight. We did a lot of things that were smart. When I left office, Medicare was good to 2026. We added 27 years on it. Now, we're back in the soup again. Why? One reason is when they passed this Medicare drug benefit, which is a perfectly good idea, they insisted on barring the federal government from bargaining for lower prices for medicine for seniors that we buy in bulk. The state of Florida can do it. Every big corporation can do it. The Veterans Administration does it. But the federal government was told to take your hard-earned tax money and shovel it to big pharmaceutical companies in basically uncompetitive prices. So if you want to save Medicare and improve education in Florida, you better vote for Barack Obama. He's got the best plan to do that. He's got a really good plan to do backup catastrophic insurance, to cut the cost of insurance so people won't have to move off the coast as global warming makes storms and hurricanes more frequent. It's an important thing, but it is disproportionately important to Florida and to the Gulf Coast. He has a plan to support the space industry, which I think is important not just to Florida but to America. This is a very big deal. Again, I like this about Senator Obama because I supported the space program, and if you take a poll, the American people say we're out of money. What in the world are we doing putting $1 into space? But you hire politicians to tell you what they think the truth is, not just what is popular at the moment. We have a vested interest in staying on the frontiers of technological change, and many of the answers to our environmental and other challenges will be found by continuing to push into space. Every president has to tend to the present, but keep an eye on the future, even when it may not be so popular to do so. The last thing we ought to do is to reverse our investments in medical research and development and other kind of scientific research and in the space program. We need to keep pushing America into the future. That's how we're going to bring the economy back. That's how we're going to become energy independent. So that's my case. For the people that aren't here, for the people that are still undecided, you do not have to say one bad word about Senator Obama's opponent. You just have to go out and tell them the truth. The job of the next president is to rebuild the American dream, repair the financial system, restore America's leadership. On those issues, the Obama-Biden ticket, and particularly Senator Obama, have a better philosophy, better answers, better understanding, better advisors, a better vice presidential candidate, and a better plan for Florida. So, folks, all over America today, except at political rallies for our side, there's a lot of pessimism and doom and gloom, and really good people are waking up with their guts in knots, worried about how in the wide world they are going to pay their bills. There was a survey that was issued 2 weeks ago that said last year 45% of working-age Americans had trouble paying their medical bills, and half of them had health insurance that was increasingly inadequate. Now, America has a choice. We can keep worrying about these things, or we can do something about them. We can be fundamentally pessimistic and defeatist, or we can act like Americans and say, hey, as my dear departed mother used to say, this is no hill for a stepper. Listen, we can turn this country around. We can make this economy hum again. We can give the government back to ordinary citizens and not to special interests. We can have a future that is brighter than our glorious past. But we have to change. And we have to make a decision. And you just remember what I told you. If you look at it, there's lots of academic surveys on this, which always surprise the cynics. People running for president, if they win, actually try to do what they promised to do. And almost always when they don't, it's because circumstances render it impossible, or because they have changed their mind for good and sufficient reasons based on evidence. But this is the best evidence we have. Look at what they stand for. Look at the philosophy, look at the programs, look at the commitments. This is not close, folks. It is not a close question.
Former President Bill Clinton speaking in Orlando, Florida, a change we need event. He's stumping for Barack Obama, but he seemed to spend almost as much time stumping for Joe Biden as the Democratic vice presidential candidate. What we heard in that time, a stinging indictment of the Bush administration